Welcome, Risers. It's that time once again for the Agent Rise podcast. I'm your co-host, Neil Mathwig, joined by Mindy Kesnick and TJ McGraw, along with a very, very special guest, and that is Amy McLendon, a breakthrough agent from Madison, Wisconsin. And Amy is one of 5 agents that we're going to be featuring this week. These are the agents that have recently broken through using the Agent Rise system, and we hope that their stories will inspire you to do the same. Amy spent 20 years in nursing. Just at the top of her career in nursing, and left that all aside to fulfill a dream of becoming a real estate agent. And she's good friends with Mindy, so she naturally joined Mindy's team in Madison, Wisconsin, and she developed a clear plan that was congruent to her and one she has stayed consistent with, and that consists of her strong sphere of influence. She has built a business around relationships. She loves on people, she cares about people, and she takes great care of people, and with that, she has one raving fan after another. So she's got a very strong sphere of influence. She also has an awesome social media presence and stays in great contact via social media. So her social media has been an extension of her sphere. In her sphere, she mails monthly newsletters, she does client events, she does pop-bys, she really does it all. She does handwritten notes. The list goes on of all of the things that she's doing with her sphere, and then she couples that with her strong social media. And also, she now sees the need in senior living, and she's now going to be stepping into working with seniors, and with her background in serving as a nurse, this is going to be a natural fit for her. And she's just realizing just how much seniors are needing us right now, and so she is going to step into that. So she's going to tell you all about that and much more. And here is TJ McGraw. Oh, by the way, I got to tell you, I'm going to have TJ do the interview, and the reason is because I saw this at the summit. TJ is amazing at doing interviews, so I decided I got to get out of the way and let TJ do the interviews. He's so good at it. And so here is TJ interviewing Amy McLendon.
So Amy, welcome to the show. Welcome to Breakthrough Week. How's it going?
Thank you. Good. Happy to be here.
So I guess we're just going to dig right in and start get to your story. So tell us where were you before real estate, and then what kind of got you thinking about getting into real estate?
Before real estate, I was a nurse in the operating room for 20 years, which, I did really love. I think one of my biggest passions in life is to be able to help people. So I got a lot of fulfillment out of that. But the schedule is terrible, right? Like, that's what kind of got me to the end of it. I needed something a little bit more flexible. At the time, I was a full-time single mom, 2 kids, and I hate to break it to the people that have young kids that think their life is busy now, because it only gets worse. It gets busier and busier as they get older. So I was really looking for a change and something to give me that flexibility that I really needed. Mindy also worked in the operating room with me. That's how we became friends. And she left the hospital a few years before I did, and ended up in real estate, and we kept in touch. And she had tried to get me to come work with her for years prior. And I wanted to. I knew this is something that I could be good at. I knew it was something that I would really love. And it was still a way for me to help and serve people like I was in my nursing job. But the timing wasn't right. I needed more time, I guess. So eventually that time came, and I just called Mindy and I said, I'm ready. I'm going to do it. And she helped me, get the training under my belt. And, I really liked the structure of EXP and the brokerage she was in. So I decided to follow her. And then she introduced me to Agent Rise. And that was like a game changer, because my biggest fear was, how do I get started? Like, when I was in the operating room, I was at the top of the totem pole. Like, I was a leader in that role. I was a resource person. If people had questions, they came to me. And then starting over in real estate was like, okay, I just fell completely off the top, and now I'm at rock bottom, and I have no idea where to start or where to even begin.
My wife's a nurse. You might know that, but I can totally relate to the schedule is a challenge, and it's a really demanding job, and to have to come home and then like have kids you have to be present for, it's tough for sure. So I can't relate personally, but I've seen it and I know that must have been a struggle. So, um, so you just, when you got into real estate, you pretty much immediately just dove right into Agent Rise and the Agent Rise world, right?
I did, and it was so helpful because, like I said, uh, I didn't even know where to start, and I still, I'm a little over 2 years in, and still feel like I don't know nearly as much as the rest of you, but I feel like Agent Rise has definitely given me the confidence that I needed, and the reassurance that I'm doing the right thing, and it prepares me better. So even though I may go to meetings showing up going, oh my gosh, I don't really know what to do. I feel like I have a plan in place anyway, so that it'll carry me through, and then I'll just get to the next step and I'll just be prepared and know what to do, I guess.
Yep.
I remember one scenario. The market's tough right now, and I was working with some buyers for a really long time, and Neil just kept talking about all these off market deals and how we had to make off market stuff happen. And I was showing these buyers a house, and they said, we really like that house across the street. And so I was like, well, I don't know, why don't I try to get a hold of them and see if they want to sell their house? And I did. And the lady answered the phone and she's like, well, I've never thought about selling my house, but I don't know. Let me talk to my husband. She called me 2 hours later and said, sure, we'll sell you the house. And I hung up the phone and I was like, oh my God, what do I have no idea what to do, what to fix.
That's
So
awesome.
just Neil and Agent Rise and listening to all this stuff gave me the confidence to pick up the phone and make that call, even though I had no idea what I was doing.
Well, you knew enough to get to that point, right? So
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. Do you think, I mean, if you didn't have Mindy and Agent Rise and all that stuff, would you have even took the chance on reaching out to that person? Because most
Oh my God.
agents I know would just be
No.
like, "Oh, that house isn't for sale. Let's move on. Let's go look at the next one."
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, super cool. So it's definitely so one of my questions that I have for everybody I'm interviewing here on Breakthrough Week is, what did your business look like before you started with Agent Rise? And so that's a tough one with you because you just dove right into Agent Rise and started rolling with it. So I guess think back to like the beginning of Agent Rise and what were some of your, maybe we could talk to some of your fears because you mentioned it was building confidence for you. So what were you like, what were some limiting beliefs or what were you worried about in the beginning?
Shortly after I started is when Neil's Bootcamp started. So I dove right into that, and I did everything that he talked about, all the weekly things. Super helpful with the listing packets and the buyer packets, and talking about newsletters, because I mean that stuff really works, like having a plan and having your processes in place so that when I meet with a client, whether it's a buyer or a seller, instead of just showing up and having no idea what to do first or what to say, I have a plan. I go in with a plan every single time, and it's the same every single time, and that's all thanks to Agent Rise.
Hmm.
And the same thing with the newsletters. I don't think a lot of agents do that, and I'm sure a lot of my newsletters go in the trash or sit on the counter and never get read. But I can tell you that I have had a big response with them. I get people texting me and telling me in person all the time that they read and love my newsletters and appreciate it. And I know I've gotten referrals strictly from my newsletter. So that was super helpful.
Yeah, it's the newsletter. It's such a simple thing. And you're like, this is so simple. How could it possibly make a difference if, this is so easy to do? But it's one of those things that's so easy to do, but it's also
Yeah.
so easy not to do. And it's, as Neil says, the email inbox is really busy right now with technology and all
Yes.
that. And it's made the physical mailbox, the snail mailbox, much less cluttered. So when you're sending that newsletter every day, and it's really not about, I'm glad that you said that because a lot of the things that we do, it's really not about making sure that like, or being disappointed that people aren't reading every word that we write or watching every second of every video that we make or whatever the stuff marketing we do. a lot
Yeah.
of agents get caught up in like, well, nobody's watching my stuff or nobody's reading my newsletter, nobody's opening my emails. But it's just the fact that you're doing these things to stay in front of potential clients or stay in front of your sphere that is really where the rubber meets the road. It almost doesn't matter if they're reading it or not. They know that you're in the business. They know that you're providing value for them. So
Yep.
it's definitely kind of kind of a mindset sort of shift like that. So I like what you said, that you don't know if people are throwing them in the trash or whatnot, but so how does that, when you say that, like, how does that make you feel? If you picture in your mind, I don't want to go negative, but we're going to go there just a little
Yeah.
bit to go to the point. How do you
Um,
feel when you picture people in their mind, like throwing your newsletter in the trash?
I mean, it doesn't bother me. I'm not someone who fears rejection.
Mhm.
Like I am a confident person most of the time. Um, and I'm not afraid to put myself out there. So it doesn't bother me. Like, I know you're going to get some rejection in life. You're going to get people that say, no, thank you. And whatever, I'm just going to keep moving forward, doing what I do. And like I said, knowing that it does work. Recently had a referral from a woman that I like, she's not on social media. I see her maybe a handful of times a year. And she just referred me to her brother. And I was like, oh my gosh, I got this random phone call one day. And I was like, how did you get my number? I have no idea who you are. And he told me, and I was like, wow. So
Nice.
it does
Yeah.
work. So I don't worry about the people that are probably throwing them away.
Yeah. I hear you. Yeah, me either. And I was for a while that I used to say to Neil, like, Neil, I don't know, man, this newsletter thing, it's like, it's costing me money every month. I got to
I
pay for
know.
postage. Like, is this really going to work? He's like, just stick with it. Just keep doing it. It will bear fruit.
I've had
And
those months too where I'm like, oh
yeah,
gosh, this is such a waste of time and money. But then I was like, no, I'm going to keep doing it. And
yep.
then, like I said, out of the blue, I got a phone call that resulted from my newsletter. So it
Yeah.
works.
It's like all of a sudden overnight, it's like it started working.
Yeah.
It was like,
Yep.
wow, there's a tipping point. Yeah, for sure. And
Yes.
like a lot of stuff that he certainly, the whole Agent Rise program, as you know, is built on this like foundation. And Neil encourages all of us to build a business we love through a plan that's like congruent to us, or our plan, rather than trying to fit into a mold that may or may not work, because everybody's a little bit different. But the
Yep.
one thing that is kind of necessary is work. You have to work. Obviously, you can't just sit back and think that everything's going to do it on its own, which you kind of alluded to that as well. And then you got to be consistent with it. And I know that you are certainly embody both of those things, hard work and consistency. And so I guess what what are the things that you do besides the newsletter that I think move the needle in your business every day, that if you weren't consistent with, may not be as effective?
I'm really good at engagements. I'm always making sure that I reach out to everybody in my sphere and, have coffee dates and dinner dates. And so I am really good about that. Sometimes maybe I'll chew good because my husband's like, again. And I'm like, I got to do this, right?
Yeah, it's part of the
So I'm
business.
good
Part of
about
the business.
that. Yeah. It's work. I'm working. I'm good at that. And then the other thing is, working on hot leads and just keeping in touch with people via text and email. And I'm consistent on social media. And then also, just again, this is an Agent Rice thing that I learned, writing letters to people in the mail, whether it be thank you letters or happy birthday letters, or just staying in touch. And like you said with the newsletter, staying top of mind.
Yeah, certainly. It's like building a relationship. Is what I'm hearing from you.
Yes.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but you're all about. There's really no sales. I don't hear you saying, "Oh yeah, you got to ABC, always be closing and sell and do the soft sale and or the soft close." You're not saying any of that. What you're saying is like just reach out and build a
Yeah.
relationship.
I'm definitely a relationship girl. I mean, I can say that my past clients, 90% of them have become good friends. I'm doing a Labor Day cookout with one of them, and I just met for coffee last week with another one. So I definitely keep in touch with those people, and It's more than just a client relationship. It's a friendship now.
Nice. That's definitely a
Yeah.
rewarding part of the
Yeah.
business is
I love it.
gaining friends for sure. So what I got to ask you this, and I know it's tough because you really only know Agent Rise, and I think it's
Hmm.
one of the best decisions that any agent could make is going as soon as you start day one of getting your license, get a real estate coach, partial to Agent Rise, obviously, but any real estate coach, just somebody that can help you along the way and kind of guide you into what do you do to grow a business. Where would you be like without coaching or without Agent Rise?
I think I'd be sitting at my desk just staring at my computer screen. Um, not having a plan and not knowing where to go. And then having Neil and Mindy's always checking in and the weekly meetings that I have with her, and then just always brainstorming and just always having a plan. And I think that is all thanks to Agent Rise. I wouldn't have had that. I met a young agent not that long ago who is brand new, is newer to Madison, doesn't know a lot of people. And she's doing what I just said. She's sitting at her desk in front of a computer, not knowing what to do. And I told her about Agent Rise and told her all the benefits. And, she hasn't made the jump yet, but I'm like, it's made all the difference for me. I know it has. Like I said, it's a little bit of speculation, but I know it has. I wouldn't have
Yeah.
known to do any of this stuff.
Yeah, for sure. I see that too. And I was an agent. I mean, I actually got in, I started talking with Neil when I first started. And then I kind of, I don't know, I kind of stepped away. I was very big on shiny objects. I think everybody that knows anything about me knows that. And I was searching and searching and searching for something like a quick silver bullet kind of thing. But as soon as I recommitted and got back and focused with Agent Rise and just started being consistent, like it was a complete game changer. So I can totally see, I can relate to that agent that's kind of staring at the screen, like, what do I do today? And then you get
Yeah, for
lost
sure.
in your social media, and next thing you know,
Yeah.
the day is over and you haven't done anything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah. So you said, tell me about your client events because you mentioned you were having a cookout coming up.
Oh, right. Yeah. So that also is a big thing to, show our clients that we appreciate them and also stay top of mind. So we try to do a client event once every quarter. So the summer was a summer barbecue. And then in the fall, we're doing, I think this year we're doing like pumpkin pies for Thanksgiving. Um last year we did, puppy chow for Valentine's Day. Uh, I know on our list we're doing a movie theater event. So just a lot of those things, like you said, just staying active with our sphere and our past clients, I think is really important. And again, how would I do that by myself? I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
Yeah, I mean the blueprint is there, and it's
Yeah.
not only from Neil himself, but from the Agent Rise community. I mean, we got some really strong agents that are huge on client events and note card writing and all that stuff. That you can just lean
Yeah.
on them because I know that when
Yep.
I would write thank you notes. I think everybody can understand the concept of writing a thank you note. Then
Yeah.
when I really started to get in with Agent Rise and the community, I started to realize that oh, you can. So we just need to write more than just thank you notes. We need to like have a plan and plan on writing notes to people and staying in contact with people. And I was like,
Sure.
what do you if, other than thank you? I mean, what do you send a card for? And that's just that alone right there has opened up a lot of just the ideas that get tossed around in the Facebook group and in the community and in the group coaching and all that stuff. It's just it's invaluable. So I love it. And let me ask you this question. Um, as far as the three pillars with the three pillar plan in Agent Rise, like what are you still focused on a chase pillar? Do you still have a chase pillar, or have you kind of let that dissolve away as you focus more and more on your sphere and in attraction?
It was Facebook leads, and I did not have a lot of success from it. Um, It was very time consuming with very little resulting from it. So I do mostly just focus on my sphere right now. However, since the market's the toughest it's been since I've been in it. I mean, it's always been tough since I've been in it, but I feel like it's gotten a little bit worse even, especially with the interest rates and everything. So I have a plan. I've been working this summer and I'm going to start chasing the senior living sphere. Mindy and I have been talking about that, and that's my next plan because I know I need something more than my sphere right now. I had a really good start to the year, and summer has slowed down, and now I need something more than just my sphere to help ramp up because I wanna get ramped up and go into the new year with with things in place.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting that working through the boot camp and having had a chase pillar and just having that skill set, I think allows you
Yes.
to kind of turn it back on. You know,
Yep, I agree.
like you can as you get more and more leads, like Sphere is great. Like that's what those are the best people. My best clients have come from Sphere for sure because it's like you don't have to sell them at all. Really, you're just like, yeah, we're working with
Right.
you. So and so told us that you're the best, so you're our agent, and that's this. I mean, there's nothing better than that for sure.
Um,
Families are focused on different things. They're focused on getting back into sports and getting their routine down for school.
Yep.
Searching for a house oftentimes get puts on the back burner, or selling a house definitely gets put on the back burner. And then you couple that with interest rates going up, and so there's all these
Right.
challenging things. And if you're just a one show pony, what that is one pony show, however that cruise ship goes,
I think one put it to
yeah, then that's it. If you only got one trick, then that's it. You're kind of out of business,
right.
or you've really got a lot of catching up to do. But because you've worked Facebook, and you said it wasn't really fruitful for you, but would you say that you learned a lot doing that, where now that you can quickly kind of adjust and pivot into like turning your chase pillar back on, even if looks a little bit different?
Yeah, for sure. It definitely taught me that there's definitely a lot of work to be put into it, and staying on top of things and the follow through was super important. And then also it also taught me more to be less fearful of rejection because there was a lot of rejection with that.
Mm.
So yeah, I think it can take those things and like you said, pivot and put them into a new direction and hopefully be more successful with this one.
You will. I think you're onto something there for sure. Most definitely. Um, yeah, and I just got to do a quick plug for the Neil is certainly has his pulse on the trends in the real estate business for sure.
Yeah.
And I mean, he saw, not that we're in like we're not in like a bad market by any means. It's just a little bit more, with interest rates going up. It's just things change all the time. It's hard to keep up.
Yeah.
Neil stays out in front of it, and he said he gives that to us, so he kind of lights the way, shines the headlights down the highway, and we can
For sure.
see things coming a lot faster, I think, than most agents that don't have that guidance and whatnot. So, and the senior living thing is one
Yes.
of them. And how about the as the Agent Rise community kind of come together? Like how many of the materials that you're using, like how much of that did you come up with on your own, or was it the did you use like the collective like group think of the community?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I used all that Agent Rice stuff. Like I said, I wouldn't have known. I mean, I've taken some of this stuff and excuse me, edited them to be more me and more personal to me, but just the ideas, I don't know that I would have come up with on my
Mm.
own. I mean, Neil's a genius. He really is.
He is.
I
And
mean,
he's
I don't
lovely
know what else to say. Yeah.
for sure. Hey, cool. Well, I mean, we covered a lot, and I just want to kind of point out, and I know like in our preparation for this interview, you're definitely um, you're definitely humble, and you're not one to toot your own horn. But from outside looking in, like you can see like the confidence that you have and the business that you've done in a very short period of time. Like most agents can't say that they've had the success you've had. So that's a lot of it is because you sought coaching, but most of it is because of your work ethic and your commitment to making it work. So I want to commend that for sure. And I got
Thank
two
you.
more
I
questions for
appreciate
you.
that.
Yeah,
Okay.
two more questions. One, what book are you reading right now, or if it's not a book, like what podcast besides Agent Rise? What kind of content are you consuming right now to kind of feed your brain?
I'm reading The Power of One More, and I am listening to 10x is better than 2x.
All right, that's a popular one.
Yeah.
That's a popular answer on on Breakthrough Week here. So The Power of One More, that's Ed Milet, correct?
Correct.
Ed Milet's the
Yeah.
author of that. Yeah, love his podcast too.
Yeah.
And
It's a good
I
one. I
just
just started that one, but I did listen to like an hour podcast on it, and I just loved it. So I had to buy the book right away. So I'm just getting into that one, but he's so great.
yeah, absolutely. I agree with you on that one. Now, here's my second question. And
Okay.
what advice would you give to any brand new agent out there, which you have an intimate knowledge of a brand new agent, how a brand new agent feels. Any brand new agent or a stuck agent that's kind of wondering, staring at their computer screen, twiddling their thumbs, not knowing what to do next. Like what's the biggest advice you could give to those folks?
A couple of things. First thing would be get coaching. Like you said, I don't know life before coaching, but I don't want to know it. I wouldn't want to experience it because I would not have had the success I've had without it. It's so important. So get coaching. Second of all, read all the improvement books and listen to all the podcasts. I feel like that's really helped me in my growth mindsets. And I've always been that kind of person. I've always been a positive, like see the future kind of person, but it really opens a lot of doors in your mind for like, oh yeah, like there's a lot more out there. Like I know I can get places, but I can get even further than what I thought. So that would
100%. I'm
be
with you on
the
that.
two things I would say.
Great advice.
Nice.
100%. Super insightful. I love the fact that you just dove in and knew you needed coaching and just wanted to accelerate things to get things going faster. You definitely not one to sit around and wait for things to happen, which is a huge part of your success. And I just love your story, and I can't wait to see, like, hopefully, like next year when we do this, we can do like a flashback episode and learn like,
Yeah.
how far you become. I can't wait for that. So thank you so much for giving me the time. I'm honored to be able to ask you these questions and talk about your journey.
Well, yeah. Thank you for thinking of me and asking me to be on.
Absolutely. All right, let's switch gears a little bit now. That was such a amazing story from Amy. I just love having a conversation with her. She's always insightful, and what a great personality and attitude that she has. Just positivity all the way. But so let's pull Neil and Mindy into the studio and want to get your folks' take on Amy, because I know that Mindy, you've worked with her as the team lead for a while, and Neil, you've coached her. So let's start with Mindy. Like, give us your side of like how you've seen Amy progress from being a brand new agent, going through Agent Rise Bootcamp and following the steps and pillars and all that.
Yeah, isn't she amazing? She's one of my favorite people on the planet, honestly. She's a good friend of mine. Her and I have always had a great relationship, even back in the operating room. And like I mentioned on the podcast last week, it was very intimidating to have her leave her very stable career as an operating room nurse and, help lead her into success in real estate, because she was going from a really good income, a really stable situation into, the wild, wild west of real estate. And she signed up with me as her leader. And it was really intimidating. And she has found so much success. And of course, Amy is one of those people who is just like most of us, is, her own worst critic. And so, of course, she always feels like she could have been doing better. She, could have seen more success. But I have seen Amy go from being really nervous and scared because she was going from being at the top of her career to being a complete novice, having no idea and no experience, and building from that. And the success that I have seen her accomplish is so gratifying as a leader, because what I saw in Amy is that she was coachable and she followed what we were teaching at Agent Rise. She did the steps, she set up her pillars, and she went through boot camp. And then what we talk about all the time, which is maybe the most important thing, is she was consistent. And she did it and she did it and she struggled through some issues. Like, technology does not like Amy for some reason. And she had some really big things to overcome that most people just don't, because it's just like, I can't tell you how many times I said, Amy, this only happens to you. I don't know. I don't understand. And she heard that from all kinds of people in the industry as she was clipping away. And so she had a lot of things to overcome, and she did them so beautifully and seamlessly. And then, she broke through. And Neil, I know you saw that too. And, I know you were along every step of the way too. And so what do you have to, what was your reflection of Amy's success?
I think one thing too I want to mention in all of this is not only Amy's success and seeing her breakthrough in all of this, but I've watched you as a leader and as a coach, coaching Amy and guiding her. And I look at how Amy's brand came alive. I look at how she's very sociable on social media. I look at just her ability to get the clear plan and to know really like what is congruent to her, what feels right. And I think that framework and her seeing that, and then your guidance, and then her tenacity. She's just such, she's got fire in her. And I just love that about her. And just putting that all together, it's just a beautiful, beautiful mix. So to see it all come together, it's just, I love it. It's exciting and it's encouraging, and I know like it's not only just awesome seeing her flourish, but she is such an inspiration to everybody around her. Just looking back on it all and just really thinking about it, I'm just really, really proud of her. I mean, she just stepped into her own, and it was scary too. I mean, going to a brand new career, and that just takes courage, and it's just so awesome to see. I'm just super proud of her, and just blessed to be able to work with her.
And Mindy, you mentioned that she still feels like she's not doing enough, but what I saw in the conversation I had with her was this humility. So that and I can see the progression where it started out as like, I have no idea what I'm doing, and like that humility of course comes from that, but as she's starting to gain more and more ground, it's like this humble confidence that is like so impressive. And I can't wait to see, like, now that she's starting to get traction and her business really starting to roll, like I can't wait to see like where she is next year. I mean, it's going to be phenomenal. I think she's just right at that tipping point where things are just going to take off.
Yeah, and she's going to do the same thing she did in her nursing career, which is become a leader. She's a natural leader, and she's already, offered to take other agents under her wing, because she just, every single piece of information that she learns, she is eager to share and help the next one behind her. So I'm also excited to see where she goes, because I know someday she's going to be leading a team of her own.
Yes, exactly it. I can't agree with you more on that one, Mindy. Now, if you're listening to this episode here and you're like, I got to get going. I got to develop a clear plan that's congruent to me, and one that I got to get consistent with. And I need a roadmap. I need a guide. I need help with this. You really should consider joining us here at Agent Rise. And now is an absolute perfect time to do it, because starting on September 21st, we are starting the next round of Bootcamp Live. And Bootcamp is our flagship program here at Agent Rise. It's going to walk you through all of the steps, the 8 steps to building your business, using the Agent Rise steps and using the Agent Rise 3-pillar plan. And then it's going to also give you everything that you're going to need to be able to run your business, to work on your business. And then it's also going to help you develop the clear plan that's congruent to you. You can hear in this episode where you can follow a plan. You can see the roadmap and the plan that is congruent to you, and therefore you'll stay consistent with it. So again, you want to have a clear plan that's congruent to you and one you stay consistent with, and we do all of that in Bootcamp. So now, Mitty, tell us, how does one get signed up? How does one join Agent Rise? And how does one get started with Bootcamp?
It's easy. All you need to do is go to agentrisecoaching.com and book a discovery call, and we will help you on your journey to your breakthrough. And now is the very best time to join Agent Rise because Bootcamp Live is starting on September 21st. You can always join Agent Rise, but if you want to be part of the live recording starting on September 21st, head over to agentrisecoaching.com and get that discovery call booked. We can't wait to see you there.
And that's right, Mindy. We want to welcome you to the Agent Rise community, and Bootcamp is one of the best ways to do that. So again, all you got to do is book your discovery call, go to agentrisecoaching.com, and let's get started today. Thanks so much for listening. Hope you have a great day. And like always, remember to be the reason somebody smiles today.